Hello everyone, I am Dr. Shweshtha Sharma. I am working at K.R. Mangalam University, Gurgaon. Today I am here to discuss with you toxicokinetics, introduction, objectives of toxicokinetics, general principles for toxicology, various processes dealing with toxicokinetics such as absorption, distribution, metabolism, excretion, important terms dealing with toxicokinetics and various kinds of toxicity studies such as acute toxicity, subchronic oral toxicity, chronic oral toxicity, repeated dose toxicity and carcinogenicity testing. In the last, we will discuss some case studies dealing with toxicokinetics. First, we will start with the introduction of toxicokinetics. Toxicokinetics is an extension of pharmacokinetics which deals with the kinetic patterns of drug substances at higher doses. Toxicokinetics is an integral part of the non-clinical testing program. Toxicokinetic studies play an important role in studying the metabolism and excretion pattern of xenobiotics. Animal toxicokinetic data help to extrapolate physiologically based pharmacokinetics in humans. Toxicokinetic studies are mainly carried out in rodents, rabbits, dogs, non-human primates and swine using different types of routes of administration. Blood sampling is done at previously determined various time points in order to analyze the pharmacokinetic data such as area under the curve, drug distribution ratio, Cmax, Tmax and other pharmacokinetic parameters. Pharmacokinetics wherever is a term which is used to describe the rate at which a chemical will enter into the body and how the body will deal with it once it is inside the body. Toxicokinetics is an application of pharmacokinetic principles which are used to determine the relationship between the systemic exposure of a particular compound in experimental animals. These relations can be further extrapolated to determine their corresponding toxicity in humans. The drug substances are first taken up into the systemic circulation and they enter into the bloodstream, and after metabolism they get eliminated from the body. K1 and K2 here are the absorption rate constant and the elimination rate constant. When K1 exceeds K2, there is drug accumulation inside the body and it produces toxic effects in the body. Then various objectives of toxicokinetics. First objective is to describe the systemic exposure achieved in animals and to establish its relationship with the dose level. Second objective is to determine the time course of the toxicity study. Third is to relate the exposure achieved in the toxicity studies to toxicological findings. Then to contribute to the assessment of the relevance of these findings to the clinical safety of the drug, to support the choice of species and treatment regimen in non-clinical toxicity studies, to provide information which in conjunction with the toxicity findings, and lastly to contribute to the design of subsequent non-clinical toxicity studies. General principles to be considered for toxicology. First one, the toxicokinetic studies must conform to good laboratory practices. When designing the toxicity studies, the exposure and dose dependence in humans at therapeutic dose levels must be considered in order to achieve relevant exposure at various dose levels in the animal toxicity studies. The various time points for collecting body fluids in the subsequent toxicokinetic studies should be as frequent as it is necessary, but should not be so frequent so that it interferes with the normal conduct of the study or to cause undue physiological stress to the animals. During toxicological study, the number of time points in the study should be justified on the basis that they are adequate to estimate exposure. This justification should be based on kinetic data which is gathered from toxicity study, from pilot or dose range finding studies, from separate studies in the same animal model or in other models allowing relevant extrapolation. The setting of various dose levels in toxicity studies is largely governed by the toxicology findings and pharmacodynamic response of the test species. These dose levels are classified into low dose levels, intermediate dose levels and high dose levels. In low dose levels, which is preferentially a no toxic effect dose level, the exposure in the animals of any toxicity study should ideally be equal or just exceed the maximum expected level in patients. Intermediate dose levels, exposure of test animals to intermediate dose levels should normally represent an appropriate multiple of the exposure at lower dose levels dependent on the objectives of the toxicity study. In the last, high dose levels. The high dose levels in toxicity studies will normally be determined by toxicological considerations. However, the exposure achieved at the dose levels used should be assessed. In toxicity studies, the extent of exposure should be estimated in an appropriate number of animals and dose groups, which provides a basis for risk assessment. Simultaneous toxicity studies could be performed either in all or a particular proportion of the animals which are used in the main study or in special satellite groups. The number of animals to be used in toxicity studies should be kept minimum, which are sufficiently consistent with generating the adequate toxicokinetic data. In toxicological studies where both male and female animals are being utilized, it is necessary to estimate exposure in animals of both sexes unless some proper justification is made. Various complicating factors such as protein binding need to be considered while interpreting the toxicological results. The strategy made for using of alternative routes of administration, for example by inhalation, topical, parenteral delivery, must be based on the pharmacokinetic properties of the drug substance administered by the intended route. Integration of pharmacokinetic principles into toxicity studies suggests the early development of analytical methods for which the choice of analytes and matrices should be continually reviewed as information gathered on metabolism and species differences. The analytical methods to be used in toxicokinetic studies should be specific for the drug substance to be measured and must be of an adequate accuracy and precision. The limit of quantification must be adequate for the measurement of the range of concentrations predicted to occur in the generation of the toxicokinetic data. Important processes in toxicokinetics. There are basically 4 processes which deals with the toxicokinetics. They are absorption, distribution, metabolism and excretion. Collectively they are known as ADME processes. In the figure you can see very well, first of all the drug gets absorbed into the body, it is then metabolized by the enzymes present in liver and kidneys, then it is distributed into various body parts and after that it is excreted from the body. So basically the drug passes through all the 4 processes dealing with the toxicokinetics. So first of all, we will start with the absorption process. The absorption process can be described as the movement of a compound or a drug moiety from its site of administration into the bloodstream. There are several absorption mechanisms by which the drug can be absorbed. It is passive diffusion, active transport, facilitated transport, convective transport and pinocytosis. And there are various factors dealing with the drug absorption. They are basically divided into patient related factors and drug related factors. The patient related factors include gastrointestinal tract mobility or GIT mobility, then pH of the GIT, vascularity or blood flow to the organ, and it depends on the patient age and disease condition. The drug related factors which affect drug absorption are drug solubility and dissolution rate, particle size of the drug and its surface area, its lipophilicity and pKa, and lastly the chemical nature of the drug. The next process is the distribution of the drug inside the body. Distribution is defined as the movement of drug throughout the body. It is determined by the blood flow to the tissues. It is the ability of the drug to enter into the vasculature system and ability of the drug to enter into the cell if required. Distribution is a reversible process. The most vital organs of the body will receive the greatest supply of the blood. For example, brain, liver and kidneys. There are various factors which affect the distribution of drug inside the body. First one is protein binding of the drug, then blood flow to that organ, in the last the volume of distribution. Next important process dealing with toxicokinetics is metabolism. Metabolism is basically a process of undergoing chemical changes. Once a chemical is inside the body, it can be distributed to other areas of the body through diffusion or other biological processes. At this point, the chemical may undergo metabolism and be biotransformed into other chemicals. The last process of ADME is excretion. After the drug is sufficiently absorbed and metabolized throughout the body, it must be subsequently removed and eliminated from the body. The two terms elimination and excretion have been used interchangeably in pharmacokinetics. So after excretion, the drug is eliminated completely from the body. The term elimination is used to indicate the removal or loss of the drug from the body, whereas the term excretion is used to mean drug removal from the body by all processes including elimination. The elimination or excretion of drug from the blood can take place through variety of pathways. The various routes of excretion are first kidney, skin, intestine, lungs, milk and saliva. This is the overview of the process of pharmacokinetics. Firstly, the drug is absorbed, it enters into the bloodstream, it is then distributed into various body parts inside various tissues. Then it is subjected to metabolism. There are production of various inactive as well as active metabolites, and these metabolites are then excreted out from the body, which will lead to complete elimination from the body. Then important terms dealing with toxicokinetics. First one is therapeutic index. Therapeutic index is also referred to as therapeutic ratio. It is an assessment of the amount of drug that causes the therapeutic effect to the amount of drug that causes toxicity. Therapeutic index is generally determined in animals as lethal dose of a drug for 50% of the population, that can be denoted as LD50 value, divided by the minimum effective concentration for 50% of the population, which is denoted as ED50 value. So, for in animals, therapeutic index is equal to LD50 divided by the ED50, whereas for humans, therapeutic index is TD50 divided by ED50. A higher therapeutic index is always preferred over a lower one. Toxic effects of a drug are lower with a drug having higher therapeutic index. Dose adjustment is often needed for the drugs which have narrow therapeutic range. As we can see from the graph dealing with therapeutic index, there is the depiction of ED50 value and TD50 value. By dividing the TD50 value by ED50, we can determine the therapeutic index or the window in which the drug is safe to use and it is not showing any toxic effect or adverse effects. The next important parameter dealing with toxicokinetics is maximum tolerated dose, which is also denoted as MTD. It is defined as the highest dose of the prescribed drug that will produce the desired pharmacological effect without showing any unacceptable toxicity. Maximum tolerated dose is an essential component of drug profile, as all modern healthcare systems display a maximum safe dose for each drug. The purpose of determining maximum tolerated dose is to decide whether long-term exposure to a particular drug might lead to unacceptable adverse effects in a population. Maximum tolerated dose studies are also performed in clinical trials. The patients, which are often unable to tolerate the therapeutic maximum tolerated dose of a drug due to occurrence of the side effects. The maximum tolerated dose do not include the following. First, overt toxicity, which might cause appreciable death of cells or organ dysfunction. Second, toxic manifestations that are predicted materially to reduce the lifespan of the animals except as a result of neoplastic development. Third, 10% or greater retardation of body weight gain as compared with control animals. The next important parameter of toxicokinetics is no observed adverse effect level. It is defined as the highest experimental point that is not showing any adverse effect. In relation to toxicology, no observed adverse effect level is the highest tested dose or concentration of a particular drug at which no such adverse effect is found in exposed animal models where higher doses or concentration might result in an adverse effect. Then, no observed effect level. It is slightly different from the no observed adverse effect level. No observed effect level is the highest concentration or amount of drug substance found by experiment or observation that causes no alterations of morphology, functional capacity, growth development or lifespan of target organisms, distinguishable from those observed in normal organisms of the same species under same defined conditions of exposure. Next parameter is lowest observed adverse effect level. It is the lowest concentration or amount of drug substance found by experimentation or practical observation which might cause an adverse effect on morphology, functional capacity, growth, development or lifespan of a target organism, which are quite distinguishable from normal organisms of the same species and strain under defined conditions of exposure. Next are the toxicity studies. First important toxicity study is acute toxicity. Acute toxicity refers to the adverse or toxic effects of a drug substance that might result either from single exposure of a particular drug or from multiple exposure of the same drug in a short span of time within 14 days. Determination of acute toxicity studies in animals are often necessary for any drug which is intended for human use. Previously, the LD50 value method is used as an indicator of acute toxicity. For the determination of LD50 value, large number of animals were involved and mortality ratio was found too high. That's why nowadays this method is not followed for determination of acute toxicity studies. Now the modified methods are used for the determination of acute toxicity study. First method is fixed dose procedure. This method helps to calculate the non-lethal toxicity, rather the lethal dose at fixed dose levels of 5, 50, 500 and 2000 milligrams per kg. The second method involves the acute toxic category method. It is a sequential procedure in which 3 animals of the same sex are used in each step and 4 pre-identified starting doses may be used. Next method is up and down method or UDP method. This testing approach is also called as staircase design. This method is most recommended by various regulatory agencies as this method involves fewer animals than other methods. In this method, firstly a dose less than the LD50 is selected and administered to the test animals, which is kept under observation for 48 hours. If the animal survives, then higher dose is administered. If the animal dies, the testing is conducted with lower dose with another animal of the same sex. UDP testing is limited to doses up to 2000 milligrams per kg. Now we will discuss about the testing procedure for acute toxicity study. The test drug compound should be administered to animals to identify doses which do not cause any adverse effect and doses causing major toxicity. The use of vehicle control group should be considered. For compounds with low toxicity, the maximum feasible dose should be administered. The acute toxicity studies in animals are conducted using 2 routes of drug administration: the route intended for human administration and intravenous administration. When intravenous dosing is proposed in humans, the use of this route alone in animal testing is sufficient. Studies should be conducted in at least 2 mammalian species, including a non-rodent species wherever reasonable. The objectives of acute studies can usually be achieved in rodents using small groups of animals. Where non-rodent species are appropriate for investigation, the use of fewer animals may be considered. Any data providing information on acute effects in non-rodent species, including preliminary dose range finding data for repeat dose toxicity studies, may be acceptable. Then, observations for the acute toxicity studies. The animals should be observed for 14 days after pharmaceutical administration. All mortalities, clinical signs, time of onset, duration and reversibility of toxicity should be recorded. Gross necropsies should be performed on all animals, including those sacrificed, moribund, found dead or terminated at 14 days. Then the acute toxicity testing for topical preparations. The acute toxicity testing for topical preparations is usually performed using eye irritation test and skin irritation test using Draize test. Draize tests are used as a tool to measure the deadliness of a drug substance in rabbits and guinea pigs. In Draize eye irritation test, rabbit is used as a model animal and 0.5 ml of the test substance is administered to the rabbit's eyes. The animal is then left undisturbed under standard laboratory conditions and examined for 4 hours for various signs of redness, swelling, discharge, ulceration, hemorrhage and blindness for a period of not less than 14 days. In Draize skin irritation test, 0.5 grams of the test substance is taken and applied evenly to the surface of the animal skin and kept under observation in the standard laboratory conditions for a period of not less than 14 days and assessed for prevailing signs of erythema and edema. After the specified period, the complete batch of animals is sacrificed and various histopathological changes are evaluated. Next is subchronic or oral toxicities testing. In subchronic oral toxicity testing, both rodents and non-rodents are used. The test substance is administered orally for a period of 90 days. Weekly body weight variations, monthly biochemical and cardiovascular parameters changes and behavioral changes are observed. After 90 days, all animals are sacrificed and gross pathological changes are observed. Then histopathological analysis of tissues is done. The maximum allowable weight variation between the animals is plus minus 20%. A satellite group may also be included in the study protocol, which can serve both as a control group and high dose group. Next is chronic oral toxicity testing. This study is conducted with minimum of one rodent and one non-rodent species. The test compound is administered to the test animal for over 90 days and observed periodically. A chronic toxicity study provides interpretation about the long-term effect of a drug substance in animals. It may be extrapolated to the human safety of the drug substance. In this study also, the maximum allowed weight variation is plus minus 20%. A satellite group may be included in the study protocol, which might serve as both control group and high dose group. Then repeated dose toxicity testing. These studies are carried out for a minimum period of 28 days. The test drug substance is administered daily for a certain period through the oral route if convenient. The test substance is regularly administered to a rodent of any gender which is aging between 5 to 6 weeks. The maximum allowed weight variation in this test is plus minus 20%. A satellite group may be included in this study protocol also, which might serve as a control group as well as the high dose group. Various behavioral and chemical parameters are recorded. At the end of the study, the animals are sacrificed and tissues from most of the organs are removed and histological changes are recorded. If advisable, immunotoxicity studies are also performed on the same animals. Then the carcinogenicity testing. In carcinogenicity testing, both rodents and non-rodent animal species can be used. These studies are carried out over the greater portion of an animal's lifespan. The experimental animals are observed for signs of toxicity and development of tumors during and after the exposure of test drug substance. If suppose no signs of tumors are found, the carcinogenic test could be terminated after 18 months. If the test animal is mice and hamsters and the test duration with rats is found to be 24 months. If the animals are found to be healthy, hematological analysis is performed after the 12 months and 18 months duration and the study is terminated. After the stated time period, the animals are sacrificed and histopathological studies are done out on all the tissues. Now we will discuss some case studies dealing with the toxicokinetics. First one is the pharmacokinetics of sertraline in overdose and the effect of activated charcoal on absorption of sertraline. Antidepressant drugs are one of the major category of drugs which are taken in overdose for deliberate self-poisoning. After oral administration, sertraline is absorbed slowly with maximum concentration occurring 4 to 6 hours after oral administration. It undergoes extensive first pass metabolism via number of cytochrome P450 enzymes to produce a weakly active metabolite for serotonin uptake, that is N-desmethylsertraline. Sertraline appears to follow linear kinetics in therapeutic dose ranging from 50 to 200 milligrams per day. In the study, 77 timed sertraline concentration were measured in 28 patients with sertraline overdoses ranging between 250 to 5000 mg with a median dose of 1550 mg. Pharmacokinetic data for sertraline following overdose in 28 patients and the effect of activated charcoal based on the median overdose of 1500 mg. The next example is the pharmacokinetics of paracetamol in overdose. Paracetamol, also known as acetaminophen, belongs to the category of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. It is most commonly prescribed drug for the treatment of pain and fever. In case of overdose of paracetamol, hepatotoxicity is the commonest cause of death due to acute liver failure. A study of paracetamol toxicity with different doses has been conducted on over 500 patients. Of all patients, 75.4% had taken an intentional paracetamol overdose, whilst 110 patients, around 16.6%, had taken an unintentional overdose. The results showed that the patients with unintentional overdoses had significantly lower admission paracetamol and alanine aminotransferase concentrations in comparison to intentional overdoses. The poisoning results in acute liver failure, which lead to sudden extensive loss of liver cell mass, resulting in hepatic encephalopathy and coagulopathy. It can also lead to multiple organ failure with a high associated mortality rate. Acute liver failure was restricted to those patients developing hepatic encephalopathy. Paracetamol overdose was prospectively assigned as the cause of acute severe liver injury if there was a clear history of ingestion of potentially toxic levels of paracetamol, that is less than 4 grams per day within 7 days of presentation. Serum paracetamol concentrations were less than 10 milligrams per liter, or serum alanine transferase concentration was less than 1000 per unit within 7 days of history of paracetamol ingestion, irrespective of the serum paracetamol concentration. Now, the summary of the toxicokinetics. Toxicokinetics is the study of the time course of toxicant absorption, distribution, metabolism and excretion. It is basically an extension of pharmacokinetics which deals with the kinetic patterns of higher doses of chemicals, toxins and xenobiotics. Toxicokinetics is an integral part of the non-clinical testing program. Toxicokinetic studies are done to describe the systemic exposure achieved in animals and its relationship to the dose level. Another objective of toxicokinetics is to relate the exposure achieved in the toxicity studies to toxicological findings and contribute to the assessment of the relevance of these findings to clinical safety. When designing the toxicity study, the exposure and dose dependence in humans at therapeutic dose levels must be considered in order to achieve relevant exposure at various dose levels in the animal toxicity studies. During toxicological study, the number of time points in the study should be justified on the basis that they are adequate to estimate exposure. The setting of various dose levels in toxicity studies is largely governed by the toxicology findings and the pharmacodynamic response of the test species. These dose levels are classified into low dose levels, intermediate dose levels and high dose levels. In toxicity studies, the extent of exposure should be estimated in appropriate number of animals and dose groups, which provides a basis for risk assessment. The number of animals to be used in toxicity studies should be the capped minimum, which are sufficiently consistent with generating adequate toxicokinetic data. There are basically 4 processes that play their role when a particular chemical enters inside the body of an animal. These processes are absorption, distribution, metabolism and excretion, which are collectively referred to as ADME processes. These processes mainly determine the time course when the drug appears into the blood and for how long it is left over in the blood. Several key parameters or indices govern the toxicity of the drug candidates. These include therapeutic index, maximum tolerated dose, no observed adverse effect level, no observed effect level, lowest observed adverse effect level, and lowest observed effect level. Out of the all parameters, consideration of therapeutic index is most important. Therapeutic index can be expressed as the ratio of the dose of the drug that causes the adverse effect, that is the toxic dose in 50% of subjects, to the dose of the drug that leads to the desired pharmacological effects, that is the efficacious drug in 50% of subjects, that is ED50. Toxicity can be distinguished as acute toxicity, subacute toxicity, chronic toxicity, and repeated dose toxicity studies. So, it can be concluded that toxicokinetic study involves the study of various pharmacokinetic principles in case of excess dose of that particular drug and how the excess dose affect the ADME processes in the body. Thank you.